Hello everyone, welcome to the first installment of the Nipissing University School of Applied and Professional Studies Blackboard training session. I'm here with my friend Rob Boulay, who joins us from the School of Business. Hello Rob, how are you doing today?
Thanks, Chris. I'm doing great. I'm super excited about this new series of podcasts that we're going to put together for all of our instructors to help them use Blackboard a little bit better. And I'm really excited about today's topics. There's been a lot of questions that have been coming in about how to set up a test and then what the options are for test presentation. So looking forward to it.
But just before we do, one more quick reminder that we always recommend using Google Chrome as your web browser when accessing Blackboard and Blackboard Collaborate. Now today we're going to talk about building and deploying tests, as well as displaying test results. And those are two important things that we need. Every class essentially will be touching on. Well, without any further ado, let's switch over to Blackboard Learning Shell and get started, shall we? So to start, click on Tests and Quizzes in the left-hand pane. And then you want to scroll up to the Assessments tab. And for our purpose today, we're going to create a test. Now, we've already created the test, but what we want to do is actually import it and make it available for our students. So we'll do so by selecting it from the list and moving on. Now we see the test info. First off, we're going to give it a name, at least a proper name. As well as next step, you're going to give the course a description here. Now this is a good spot for you to outline how many questions or what chapters the test covers, how many questions might be on it, so on and so forth. Moving down, you're going to see a number of options for this test. The first one being asking whether or not you want to open the course in a new or open the test in a new window. This is all going to be up to the professor's interpretation or desires, but we would recommend opening it up in a new window as it prevents the students from having multiple tabs open and multiple potential distractions that could pull their eye away from the test and cause some problems. So let's select yes for open the test in a new window. Now we want to ensure as well that the make the link available is selected, because if not, no one's going to see this test at all. This is an important one, and this is why we're spending a little bit more time on it to highlight it. Add a new announcement for the test. We'll send an announcement to the students letting them know that the test has been posted and is available for them to enter. Now moving down, if you'd like to allow your students to have multiple attempts at the test, you select it and then you can give them a number, or you can leave it unlimited. Now the score attempts using, this is an important one as well, because if you do select a number of attempts, this allows you to select how you're going to be scoring the test based on that after the attempts are successfully completed. Forced completion, once the test is started, it must be finished within that one sitting. Now this can cause some issues for some people. Should their computers crash, should their internet connection drop, or any of those types of reasons, essentially what will happen is the test will not be available for the student to re-enter. This would mean that the teacher or instructor would have to go back in and restart the test or create a new session for the student to start writing. So that's something to consider. And again, if you have any questions about these settings, please feel free to reach out to us for more specifics. Moving down, you can set a timer, of course, for how long you want to allow the students to have a test. Oftentimes final exams at least, are usually a 3-hour time duration. One other option under the set timer setting is whether or not you want auto submit to be turned on or off. Now this is important because if that time does run out, the test will save and submit automatically when the time expires. If you have it off, the user is given the option to continue after time expires. Now next we have display after and display until. Now these are important because this allows you to open the test for a certain short or long amount of time if you'd like, allowing students an option to write it on over multiple period of days, not necessarily write and re-enter and so on, but it allows them a few days window to be able to write the test.
Next, I'd like to talk about test availability exceptions. So for existing availability settings, you can make exceptions for individual students or groups. You can use these to provide an accommodation for a student who might have a disability or for technology and language differences, for example. Another example, for a test with one attempt, you are able to allow a student multiple attempts should they need an accommodation for anxiety or anything along those lines. Now, as well, if the settings exist for a test or survey, you can create the following exceptions. First, number of attempts, timer to allow a little bit more time, availability, so you can make the test available at a later date during a certain time period for them to accommodate perhaps maybe a part-time job or something like that. Force completion. Next, we can assign a due date. If you use grading periods in Grade Center, set a due date to easily include that test or survey in a grading period and on the calendar in the Blackboard menu. To prevent late submissions, you can select the box, do not allow students to start the test survey if the due date is passed. So after the due date, students receive a message that notifies them that they can no longer complete the test or survey, in which case they would have to contact the instructor for to make an exception for them, as we noted above.
In this section, we'll talk about showing test results and feedback to students. So in this first screen, it's set up so after submission, the students will see score per question. And that's what this looks like. This screen displays the incorrect answers only. And this is what it would look like if you checked off all of the options. The final section of the test is test presentation. And here you'll decide whether you want all of the questions to be displayed at once, or if you'd like them to be displayed one at a time. If you choose the one at a time option, you can choose to prohibit backtracking. That'll prevent the students from going back to questions they've already seen. The randomized question option reorders the questions that are presented to the students in different order. So each student potentially may receive the same questions, but just displayed in a different order.
Well, folks, we've now reached the end of our first training session here, and I just wanted to take the time to thank you for tuning in. We hope you've been able to answer some of your questions you might have had, or perhaps some you didn't. And we look forward to covering more topics with you soon.